Okay, now we've got a bonus segment. I'm going to call this a reboxing. So I just did the unboxing video for Robo Rally 30th Anniversary Edition. And so I'm now going to show you how I have changed what's in the box. First of all, it now weighs a little over 12.5 pounds. Okay, so the box is still nice and tight. Very, very tight. Okay, here we go. So, first of all of the cards are now in one bag. The box insert and the foam and the box insert cover are gone. So you can see one bag is plenty large for holding all of the the turn cards for each of the different players. So they're programming cards. And we'll leave that there for historic accuracy. And here are the upgrade cards. The upgrade cards actually do have on the bottom here the actual copyright date. And in this case, these are the 2023 cards because I looked through all of the 2024 upgrade cards that came with this edition and they were exactly the same as the ones in the 2023 edition. So if I'm wrong, please put that in the comments. And so instead of having cards that might not have exactly matched the 2023 ones or the additional expansions, see, all the expansion upgrades were mixed in. So instead of sorting those back out, which I could have done, I just swapped them. So now these are just the 2023 ones. There are little symbols here in the bottom that actually show you that this is part of an expansion. So I could have sorted those out, but they're just fine to use the 2023 ones. So I've got all of those and all of the damage. So those are the cards. And they are nice and safe inside a bag that is sealed. Things happen, things get spilled, you can get caught in the rain. I have personally spilled coffee into my own game bag, and that would have destroyed more, but I was able to save everything because things were nicely bagged. So let's take this, and this, and these. This. Make sure we group these together. There's a slight difference between the orange this is Twonky Orange, whereas this is Hulk Red, and then this is brown, which is then slightly different than yellow. So just shades. All of these will get stacked. One difference between this and the way I had my 2023 edition packed up was that I had 2 copies of the 2023 edition, so I had double sets of programming cards, so you could go through your deck basically twice before having to deal with spam. So I was changing the game slightly, which, as long as everybody plays by the same house rules and house rules are announced ahead of time, it's okay to change rules. If you don't like exactly the way the rules are written, you can deal with it. I have the rest of the components in another bag. And then in another bag, these are all of the pieces that were from the master builder. So your extra conveyor belts, if you want to have some more laser beams, and I have another crash and burn expansion that has some extra flamethrowers and extra portals and crushers. And there's an interesting pusher that pushes to the side instead of pushing forward. So in one portal and out another. Okay, have an extra little crusher. So those then all get rebagged together so that they will stay nice and safe. And you have a board layout where, well, let me give an exit out of an area that looks way too complicated to get out of. You can fix it. You can put a conveyor through there. Sealed. So there's the first player, very nice metal token, and some energy cubes from prior edition, the 2015 edition, and some energy cubes scavenged from King of Tokyo. Okay, and then what I did was I rebagged each of the different robots in their own bag. So now Twonky as the robot, you have your archive token, you have your checkpoint counter. So these are the three that came with your 30th anniversary edition. I'm also using one additional archive marker and checkpoint token from the prior edition, because when a robot is on the board and the player is trying to figure out, where do I want this robot to go? I hate it when they pick up the actual robot, then move it around, and then don't remember exactly what direction or where it was when they started. So my house rule is that if your robot is on the board, you don't touch it. You leave it there. You take your extra archive marker, and then you use that to theoretically figure out where you want to go. The robot stays in place, and it is maintained. My sanity is maintained. Okay, and so all of these are together in their own baggie, and each player has their own baggie. Now you're saying, but wait, Trundlebot wasn't in the 2023 edition. How does it have additional archive markers? Well, let's check it out. So, actually, let's start with Twitch. And it has an archive marker from an ancient edition. And I will be adding something else to use for its additional checkpoint token. Haven't figured that out yet. So Twitch has its ancient marker, and Trundle, It's its own ancient trundle marker. So, the historic with the modern. Then these get sealed back up into their own bags, and everything is nice and safe. Now, if you're wondering, why would we need this many energy tokens? Now, the 2015 edition of Robo Rally, you would put an initial energy cube on each of the energy spaces. And the first person to stop on an energy space would get that energy cube and increase their energy. I kind of like that. So in my games, I have a house rule where we start out with 1 cube on each space, and you can actually accumulate energy a little bit faster. So more upgrade cards, more fun. My version of Robo Rally has 12 flags for extended games. I also converted the reboot tokens into power down tokens. Would have been nice if the 30th anniversary edition came with power down tokens, but it didn't. The old versions had them. The reboot tokens are not a good idea, and I never use them in games because they lend themselves to encouraging robots to jump into pits or jump off the edge of the board in order to respawn further closer to the checkpoint flag if the reboot token is closer to the flag than they are. So it's not a good idea to have them on the table. It makes perverse incentives. So now they are power down tokens. So now we still have these same reference sheets and the manual. I did find in the manual on page 14 that the language for the battery space changed slightly. The initial sentence now says, battery spaces are places you can charge up your robot so you can draw and buy new upgrades. But I clarified with the game designers that no, that does not mean that you can have an additional phase to upgrade your robot. So there's no buying additional upgrade cards while you're on a battery space, which was not completely far-fetched because in the older versions, when you landed on a repair pad, a double wrenched repair pad, you could definitely use that to get new upgrades, or options as they call them. So that is still there. Now the manual, the rule book, actually incorporates additional things like flamethrowers and crushers that might not have otherwise been in the rule book. So it incorporated the things that had been put into place by the expansions. So that is nice that they consolidated that. It would have been even better if they had consolidated radioactive into the rule book in anticipation of upcoming expansions. But I still have my original radioactive factory floor guide, and so I'm keeping that in the box for now. Okay, then in the box we have our lay mats that are now nice and heavy. And then I have all of the 6x6s, one docking bay. The 6x6s are from the Master Builder. And then the rest of the box, I have boards and a tiny docking bay. And I took the sticker from outside and stuck it on the inside of the box. Okay. So we have the 4 new boards came with this edition. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 more boards. So 21 full boards. And so we can have whatever combinations we want. And so the only thing that's limiting is creativity. And so that is everything in the box. Okay, so that was a reboxing to show how I set it up for use. Be well.